It's a little bit of a scary part here.
Yo, you are watching the extended cut of repasting and repadding the RTX 3080 Zotac AMP HOLO. Yeah, so this is my first time ever doing something like this. And yeah, it was scary. So join me for the ride. You can see everything I had to go through. Hopefully, this can help you too. Let's go.
Hey yo. So we got the GPU out of the system. I bet you're wondering, what is this masking tape? It's so that I don't lose track of where this is while I'm filming it. Off the miner I got this from, and he kept it in good condition. Can't really complain. I wish before I got this card that I did like my in-depth research of what the best models of 3080 are. And like one of the best models is the Asus TUF one. Yeah, I actually could have got that one for like $10 more than this. And there's a reason that this particular model, the Zotac one, is actually going for cheaper on eBay, and that's because it's not a very good model of card, even though it's technically like a flagship top tier card from Zotac. It runs hot, basically. But we're gonna see how these thermal pads and stuff change things. So I do have a few things here. Thermalright Extreme Odyssey thermal pads. These are the 2mm ones. 2mm ones are from the front. And if you really want to improve your temperatures as good as you can, then you can replace thermal pads on the back of it too. That's where these 3mm ones come in. Obviously they're a millimeter thicker. Well, just the basic ones that you can get on Amazon, these thermal pad kits, you can do the front and the back of it. I mean, you'll have plenty from what I've seen, so. And then to replace the thermal paste, I got, again, like how I did my CPU, I got the Noctua NT-H2. I actually got a big tube this time because I'll just have thermal paste then. I mean, it's cheaper to buy it in bulk, so I got the big honking tube, the 10-gram one. Compared to like a normal tube of thermal paste, if you know what those look like, yeah, this is a big tube of thermal paste. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That looks like it's the perfect tip. I have a little magnetic thing to keep the screws on. These screws actually have like springs on them. I guess that's for you don't over tighten them, because and all the they're not strong. These ones are long. That at all matters to you. Yeah. I think, yeah, it's just separate this from that. So to go slow, because there's like thermal paste on it and stuff. You really don't want to break the fan connectors. You just want to slowly just pull it apart. Again, this is my first time ever taking apart a GPU. Okay. I mean, it's going. Okay. Thermal pad's kind of flopped off. See that? Fan connectors, those engaged. Okay. So that's what it looks like, I guess. It doesn't really look like there was enough thermal paste on there, if I'm being honest. Here are the pads. They're I don't know if that's good. They look like electrical tape, kind of, just thicker. I guess I don't know what you call that, but they look like thicker electrical tape. All right, so unfortunately my camera battery's kind of dying on me. So I'm going to go ahead and take all this apart while my batteries are charging. I just gotta clean it up. So I'm gonna use these pads, I'm gonna use Q-tips, I'm gonna use this little stabby tool. I got all kinds of stuff, so we'll get to it. So I did do a few things while it was cut away. So I officially disconnected the heatsink from it, and it was pretty easy. It just has these two cables connecting it here, and then there's one cable that ran under this right here. Pretty easy to get off. So this is completely separate, so I don't have to mess around with this big old thing while I'm working on stuff. So I'm actually just gonna put it to the side. But I also disconnected the PCB from the back plate. So it wasn't that hard to do either. So there was, because this is the AMP HOLO edition, I don't even know if the Trinity one has this or not, but it has this little LED header right here. So you just had to unplug that from the card. And then there's some thermal pads on the back here. So we're gonna wanna replace those to get better performance. But yeah, it was pretty easy. I just needed to take off 6 screws. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it came off. Now this little thermal pad just fell off. I don't know where this was, if I'm being honest. It's a little thermal pad. It's super tiny. I don't know where this was. All right, so I found out where that little thermal pad went. So it was stuck to my thumb or something. I was looking at the footage and it just like dropped off here. But it goes right here. So this little pad goes right here, and that's all it was. I just had to remember to replace that one as well. Every single thing that could turn on right now is turning on in the house, so I'm sorry for the background noise. What I've seen people do is they just like take out the pad, pretty straightforward. They just take it, they put it on your little thing here, stick it right where you want to cut out of it. Make sure you have enough space, and then basically you're just going to be tracing it. So just go through here, just basically trace it with your knife. Obviously, if it's a little bit bigger, it's not going to hurt anything. It can't be like ginormous, but I have some more lens wipes. Basically, so these are alcohol based. So there's basically like this little like crap on them. It's like a adhesive residue on the memory chips. So these are by the way, if you were wondering, these are the GDDR6X memory chips. So that's your memory, which is very important for your GPU. So I mean, that's clean. So all I do now is, I guess, do a little bit of this. So these actually these are like, it's like double-sided tape. So before I even do it, I'm gonna test that it is the right size. Ouch it. Looks like it's a little big, but that's not gonna hurt anything. The clear side on these thermal pads look like actually hides the adhesive. So this little like dimpled side will be your side that actually goes up. These are the Thermalright Extreme Odyssey thermal pads. 2mm ones for the front here and 3mm for the back. I'm just gonna take off, so this is the adhesive side, is sticking to the actual thing. Just make sure it's covering all of the RAM. It looks like it's good. So I'm just gonna take these one at a time and make sure I get everything as good as I can get it. Yep. Just take your time with this, okay? No rush. It's better to not mess this up. I'm using a nice sharp knife. It's gonna be ideal, so you can just do one cut. So if you have to replace your blade on your utility knife, I'd recommend doing that. I'm gonna peel off this plastic. Do that. I'm really hoping that this will improve temps quite a bit. And I'm more worried about the actual GPU die. I mean, our RAM temps at stock, we're getting close to like 100, which isn't really that safe for even GDDR6, which does run hot. But it's not really that safe, so, you know, I would prefer to be running at better temperatures. I talk like I have a ton of experience of doing this. I don't have any experience. This is my first time ever doing this. Put the box underneath it if you want to protect the table you're working on. Or plastic again. Rinse and repeat. And doing it this way basically guarantees the sizes for your pads are going to be right. Or at least in a ballpark, like even if they're a little big. I mean, again, you can always cut more off. As long as you're not wasting so much of your pad that you're gonna run out of thermal pad, then just cut them big. Like, it's okay. I need to get this one here first, so. Okay. So I was like, oh, maybe I'll have extra thermal pads. And it's like, I don't think I'm gonna have extra of these, unfortunately. I thought I was gonna be getting more than that, I'm not gonna lie. It always surprised me the scale of like electronics, because electronic, man, bro, they are tiny. This is really not that big. This kind of surface I'm working on here. My thumb is bigger than it, so that gives you any scale. So I'm gonna peel off a little plastic. I'm gonna show this every time so that I know for proof that I did it. Stick them on there. Obviously, I'm not gonna forget the little piece that's up here. So let's get that. Just microscopic. This thing is gonna be hard to cut, I'm not gonna lie. Tiny little memory controller or something. I think that's what this is, a memory controller. I feel like I completely overdid it. It's okay. It'll be fine. Probably should have done the back first. I really hope that these don't all fall off when I turn this over. I don't know how much this really matters because my back plate was really warm. So it was obviously transferring heat to it. I don't know how much this actually matters. And this one feels oily. Oh, it does give you a layout for the pads. Look at that. There's little dimples on all the things where they're supposed to go. So I could probably technically stick them to the back plate instead of the GPU. I feel like I probably should. So again, just trace it. I've also seen guides that will show like the exact sizes that you need. I would really recommend just tracing it. Then you can't measure wrong. It's kind of like when I'm on the job sometimes, like I do like remodeling stuff. I've found like every opportunity that you can just bring in a piece and mark it and it's not extremely inconvenient, just do it. You will mess up so many less cuts than you'd ever believe. It's insane. I don't recommend measuring everything. It's a bad idea. Measure as little as possible. Mark as much as possible. I have to do it like this. I overcut that one just like a little bit, so trim it down. Again, just keep at it. Transferred faster than it was, I don't know. It's kind of like curved. I think it's just angling for the RGB. Yeah, this stuff, these pads on the back must have been different pads or something, because these are like actually like oily and stuff. Ones on the front really weren't that dirty, surprisingly. The guy that sold me this card said that he didn't do anything to it. Like everything was stock. Thermal pads are pretty expensive, man. Like each of these packs is like 18 bucks or something. It's something like that. It's pretty pricey. It's not that much material. I don't really know what kind of material this is. And then just one last little pad there, which I have to take off of the GPU. So let's do that. I think it's like in the pin things or whatever. So it's like really like jammed in there. Just don't rip, please. This is the little finicky part about working on electronics that just like scares me sometimes. Like, please just come off. Okay, so all the pads are on. So this is something I'm bad about, is I'll protect the workspace, but I won't keep it clean. That's my problem. So what this is like, these are the back of all the memory chips. You know, it does transfer heat through both sides of the PCB here. Obviously, most of it's gonna be taken by the cooler. Basically, I took a little break and I cleaned up everything. And then yeah, I'm gonna re-polish the CPU and the GPU, and make sure that everything's good. So I'll be back in 2 seconds. Put the back plate here. Line it up the holes. So basically I'll show you guys here where all these screws are. I don't have the LTT screwdriver. I don't have freaking the strongest magnets on planet Earth. One time I was taking apart, I think, an iPhone 5S to replace a screen on it, and I lost a screw. I could not find where it went. It fell on the ground. I never found it. So what I actually did is one of my old iPhones, I had an iPhone 4S, and I actually I took it apart, and it had a similar size screw, and I just like stole it. It wasn't necessary inside the phone, so it just like, the phone still functions to this day. But I wonder if anything else on the board would need cooling on it. Like, do these little things need cooling? Okay, well it should get solid now. So this is all working. What I've seen people do when they apply GPU thermal paste, but GPUs are like serious, it's serious business, because now we're gaming, boys. Is what they actually do is like actually put some on here, spread it out with like a credit card. I'm gonna put a little like strip going across it. I don't know if it'll be like enough or what. I'm gonna spread it out with this Chipotle gift card. That has been sitting in my wallet for God knows how long. Why do I not use gift cards? I don't know. That seems like pretty good coverage. Let me go through and clean up any little excess things that are on here. I was about to like meme you guys and like put the cooler on without thermal pasting it. I was like, I'm too nervous. Okay, well, it's on there. So these are attached, so I think it's gonna be good to plug in, say, this little lighting cable. Okay. I need my RGB, it makes me game faster. And I think what would be a good idea is to go ahead and plug in all these guys before I commit, because I won't be able to do this later. That boy's in there. Those two are in there. So then this, the last one. Real nice and easy like. I'm gonna double check and poke everything. I don't want to have to take it apart again. Do it right the first time. Okay, everything seems like it's in there. I feel like it'd be easier to do that, but like I feel like the thermal pads might fall off if I flip this on like this. They're gonna fall off. I'm like putting it down and just like checking it. Just to make sure these aren't falling off. I do all this and just have a little thing fall off. Well, it doesn't seem like it's falling off, so I should be able to do this. GPU's all thermal pasting good. Okay, just do a little bit of this. It's on there, it's on there. Okay, so basically finishing it off here. I just started these screws, so we'll go ahead and tighten these. My camera was gonna overheat, so I stopped it just in case. But obviously, whenever you do stuff on a cooler, you want even pressure. So crisscross how you tighten them. Just go slowly with it. I mean, there's no rush. No rush. Do all that to F up now. Bad idea. Even though it does take a while. And once the spring doesn't let you go anymore, then you're done, you know? Don't over tighten these unless you really want to like break your GPU, which, you know, it's teach their own. Something to note, if you do have a Zotac 30 series card. I'm pretty sure they're pretty similar. The Holo, the Trinity, and the like any other SKUs. So like if you have a 70 series, 80 series, 90 series, or whatever. I don't know beyond that, but I'm pretty sure they're similar. At least on this model here, the RTX 3080 10 gigabyte model, Zotac AMP HOLO. The this screw right here is longer than this screw, so make sure you put the longer screw in this hole, or else it won't even grab. But you'll know it's not that bad. It just won't grab. Then the other one would grab too much. So you know it is pretty simple. All tightened off. Everything. The card. I think I did at least something right. So see how good I did. My first experience ever replacing paste on a GPU, because my old 1070, I mean, it ran so nice anyways. Like I never would need to do it because that card was so efficient. I mean, obviously these cards are more efficient. Just yeah, they push more power into it too. So it makes lacks for that efficiency that they gain. But yeah, so I'm gonna go and pop this back in my computer.
So if you were wondering, replacing the pads and the paste was a success. I'm going to do a follow-up video. I'll also link this here. Is it even worth it though? Because when I got to the testing, it really wasn't that different. Yeah, overall it went pretty smoothly. So I hope your experience goes just as smooth if you're at least thinking about doing something like this. So yeah, good luck. Peace.
Cause I've been making fucked up mistakes, thinking shit I don't say. In my head like always, random bonds like D-Day. Giving what you give and you're getting back less. That's a problem out of tech, I should probably reflect. I should probably get away before the shit gets worse. I should probably tell the truth instead of holding that. Yeah, I like to welcome in the pain and go and deal it out more. I should probably get away before the shit gets worse, yeah.